Hello, everyone. Let me start here. Oh, and I have this thing also so that I can walk a little on stage. So let me introduce myself. For those of you who I haven't crossed yet, I know half the room I already know. There's a bunch of people who I was very fortunate to meet today and yesterday and the day before. So my name is Ruy Adorno. I am part of the TSC group. I'm very happy to be serving as a vice chair for this year. That's happened recently when we had our friend Michael Dawson who stepped down. So as part of that, I'm also giving this talk here today instead of him. So yeah, thank you, Michael, for, it's kind of the reason I'm here today. So I wanted to start with that. So a little bit of my background, I have been doing JavaScript for a long time now. I have more than 20 years of experience just working with the web. I started out with ActionScript, Flash back in the day, for those of you who know. But yes! And I'm a co-founder at Volt. We had that little desk just outside. If you haven't had a chance to stop, say hi, and hear a little bit more about that, make sure you do it. There is still time today. And I'll probably be way more relaxed. My talk will be done, so it's great timing. So basically in this talk, just starting with this summary here, just to make sure, I like to kind of give this overview of what we're going to be seeing. So this talk is basically like the year in review, recap of the most important things that landed in the Node.js runtime. And along with that, a few of the things from the working group around the project, right? We have website changes, and before the close there, I managed just collecting some numbers to talk about it and closing the talk with a call for participation. You should get involved if you're not yet. If you want to, it's usually a very approachable project from certain point of view. I know for JavaScript developers, sometimes just thinking about jumping into the C++ code base might seem intimidating, but there are a lot of other things going around the project as a whole. So. Yes, and I was kind of lost, how do I even start this talk? I have to have kind of some story to tell or something to guide me. So I was thinking, you're all looking at this kind of green background, what is this, like a cyberpunk type of city, what is that? Well, it turns out I managed to obtain through some, in some way, some stills of the upcoming Rocket Turtle movie animation. You all be delighted to see that Rocket Turtle is here with me, helping me present this talk. So anyways, let's get started. It was a big year, and I think, the things I really want to highlight here for this past year, or 2 years sometimes, I'm being very loosely with the time frame here, so sometimes I'll jump a little bit earlier because the nature of the project works. A lot of things, they land in experimental status, so eventually they get unflagged. So sometimes the most important moment is when they get finally unflagged, although the community might have been using them for some time now. So I decided to put together, just trying to structure all the things, I decided to okay, let's make groups of things to talk about. And this is a very biased kind of selection here. It's most popular changes by Ruy's opinion, right? But the important goal here is trying to cover the most things possible here. So let's start with native TypeScript support, right? In my opinion, I think that's kind of the community favorite, very, very important addition to the platform. So basically, you can now run TypeScript files directly, right? No build steps, and it's no longer behind an experimental flag. That's been kind of the most recent change because it's been around ever since version 23, has been already backport to LTS, has been present for a while now, and a huge shout out to Marco, who was the champion led that entire. I know it's a good thing. Like I'm looking at Robin. I remember he already even won one of the JavaScript Land awards for that. It's been an amazing work overall, and how it works is it's basically what you would expect, right? Like you have a TypeScript file, now you can just give that to the Node runtime. It's able to run it, right? Like, and there was so many talks. I'm not sure, I didn't watch all of them today, but it was probably covered somewhere by someone. But the way it works is just by stripping out all the type information, right? Like, so that the runtime can run it. So I'm not gonna go into detail about any of these things because I just wanna cover as many items possible here. So yeah, and you should still rely on other tools like TSC if you want to be doing type check on your end. It has some limitations. You cannot do the transformation syntax, although I know there is a new experimental option for also enabling that. So you could be using some of these invalid structures like enum, namespace. So yeah, I'm providing links throughout the talk. I put the slides up on my Blue Sky account. So I had the handler up there in the beginning, forgot to mention, but it's just Ruy Adorno. If you search for that, you'll find me, and you'll see the last post is it's the slides. So if you want to get the slides, just yeah, I think that's the easiest way to get them. After that, native SQLite support, yeah. With zero dependencies, you basically have a SQLite database included in the runtime, right? In this, no longer behind experimental flag, and this was championed by Colin. And for me, this is one of my favorites. I've been using it already. I've been kind of shipping products using it, and I've been loving it. So just again, quick snippet, like how it works. You can just start a new database. You can run all these SQL queries, and you can, everything is in your machine. You can be pointing to remote stuff if you want. There's even an in-memory option. It's very flexible, and I've been really digging it. And this this is a big one. So require ESM. The runtime, finally figure out a way to solve all the problems we had initially, right? Like with the ESM introduction. So the recent progress has been really amazing. This is so much less of a pain now. So basically the ability of being able to require a ESM file, right? Has been enabled by default, and this was championed by Joey, who just figured out so many pain points and just fixed a lot of it. So I pinged Joey about this. Oh yeah, if you all want to give the shout out to all these amazing people, I'm trying to highlight them here, right? This is a community project, everybody. Everything kind of runs around the people that show up and do the work. So I was pinging Joey, okay, Joey, what should I put up here? And she told me, okay, the most recent exciting change is for package authors. Make sure you tell people the package JSON that you usually were distributing it like this, right? People were bundling CommonJS and ESM, having these different endpoints. Now you should be able to just use it like this, right? Just a sane, empty package JSON that just get things to work because the runtime supports it now. So moving on, the second group here on developer experience improvements. There is a bunch I like the highlights too. Starting with web storage. This is another very, very nice browser API that made its way into Node.js. It was kind of also from where the SQLite integration came from, because SQLite was first introduced into the runtime to support this, and eventually SQLite is also a spin-off that came out of this. So Colin also was the champion for this feature, and yeah, it's being stabilized just now with version 25. So it's the kind of use cases you would expect, right? It's great for creating isomorphic code, right? That will run on both the browser and the runtime, right? And again, trying to leave links here to the docs to where you can find more about it after the talk, right? Great one, Node Run. Yes, this for me being involved with package managers, right? Like this is definitely an important one. I've been following up closely. So basically, Node added the ability of running scripts from your package JSON scripts. It started out like as a way of trying to just improve the performance. NPM was really bad with the performance when you were doing NPM run a script name. And I think this is also like a good example of how this, competing things, like they just end up being a better outcome overall for everyone because NPM just got so much better after this. NPM, I know the team that did a great job making NPM run fast. So this was championed by Yagis. It does have some limitations, like I know some of the environment variables that NPM injects are not going to be there. So I don't think 100% of things that will run with NPM will run, but you can basically get 98, 99% of things running, right? And one of the use cases I really like, me as a package manager author, sometimes I really just switching out package managers, right? And having Node Run be the baseline for the scripts that you're composing with, it's a great way to make sure you can just switch the package managers and it's not going to be spawning NPM, even though I'm trying to run my script from Vault because the pre-dev command was using NPM run, right? So using Node Run for those type of situations is kind of a good way to ensure, okay, I'm not going to accidentally spawn a completely different package manager to run my script here. So was another great addition. Terminal colors with the style text. This also has been, it had been a long time coming, kind of like the community wanted it, and util style text kind of adds it's a more foundational, like more basic support for having colors, better than what we had before, right? Like, so now you have this API that allows you to kind of set basic colors in the terminal, right? So some of the stuff that we would do with Chalk and similar packages, it's not the complete API, but it's already like a good start for the runtime just to provide that, right? And that was Raphael who jumped in and on top of all the other things he's doing, he found the time to contribute this feature. It was, yeah, I've already been using it in some scripts too. Very, very useful. Environmental file, like with basically the ability of pointing out .env files so that you can define environment variables that can be shared, maybe across the team, maybe just something you want to save so you don't need to be setting up these environment variables all the time, right? This was also championed by Yagis, who, I think this one was a very publicized on Twitter and stuff. If you're following the conversation, it was also gathered a lot of community support, community sentiment around it. And I also just put a basic example here showing, okay, the kind of stuff you would like to have there, right? Okay, maybe it's a database URL you're pointing to develop in your local machine. And let's move on because the list is long. there's a lot of things in this past year. So this is the experimental config file. This one I don't know if everybody or most of you have already tried. It's basically a JSON file that you can set options for the Node runtime. So traditionally, we had the environment variables that Node, the runtime support, the command line options. So now we have also a way to have a JSON file that we can configure some of these options so that we can, easily share them across the team, right? Like we can make some reusable configurations that you can carry around one project and another. So it's available under experimental flag, right? There's a config file and a default config file which looks for a node config.json. So also something you can try today. And on the enterprise side, these are also some of the features Joey worked on and solve some of the major pains especially for the enterprise world, right? Trying to just proxy, right? Like figuring out proxy. So now there is a way to actually just have your proxy be just proxying different URLs within the runtime, right? And I think I have another example here. But basically, it's what you expect, right? Like it works for fetch, for requests, so that you can have like npm being able to install packages within corporate proxy, right? And also system certificate support, another major one from Joey. That one, let me see, what are my notes here? Yeah, it's supposed to be, just easy to use for that kind of environment. It's usually on the enterprise side, you really like to have the certificate stuff like figured out. So this is kind of a way to providing the options for the folks that need it. OpenSSL updates. Also with the Rocket Turtle helping us out here. It's basically just updates and making sure we're on an updated version of OpenSSL, which I'm pretty sure James has more to talk about it with their quick support. But let me move on to the other stuff here. On the performance infrastructure side, startup performance, we have been improving the startup performance since version 18. Rafael shared with me some of the stats he's been collecting. So if you want to check that out, it's on GitHub on his username there. But he did mention version 25.0 just got released. Apparently it might have some aggression, but he's already on top of it. So you can definitely expect more improvements going on. On the infrastructure upgrade side, we did move the place we're hosting all the downloads for the Node runtime. It was moved to Cloudflare, so you can expect just more reliable, more resilient system. It actually happened in March, and honestly, I don't think we have heard of any major outage, so I think it's been doing great. Now moving on to more of the infrastructure side of the project, right? The release working group set up this new repository for managing the release keys that sign the binary for the runtime. So it's also something, if you're working on that side of the world, you're responsible for updating the runtime on maybe a big corporation, maybe even in a small company. It's the kind of thing kind of resource you like to know about. Basically has the keys for all the current releasers, which I was listing here. I'm part of them. And this is a great group of folks that also they're just doing the janitor type of work to keep the lights on. And basically you can use the information there to validate any of the signed binaries, right? It's more on the side of things that you kind of, if you need this kind of stuff, you'll be looking for it. But as an end user, most of us don't have to care about it. So, yeah. More notable features here. Permission model is now stable. So all these options that we had for a while now, allow FS read, allow net, I think it's just got added in version 25. But another amazing feature by Rafael. Rafael has been championing this for a long while now. So it's great to see it moving to a stable status there. And gosh, so much stuff. Test runner is just always getting better, right? So we had a lot of small contributions coming in the past year. I think auto-weight subsets is the one I'm kind of highlighting here. Since version 24 that landed, and a few additional quality of life APIs. I just wanted to mention, I just want to make sure, they're here. This is a good kind of slide you can share internally, right, like for folks, but I'm not going to be in detail with these specific implementations here. ExecV is one I was really excited about, coming from the NPM. Like we always kind of wanted to see if we could just replace the process instead of running child processes. It's now on the runtime. It's something that we could be playing with. So yeah, some highlights from the Node.js major release for 24 from last year or beginning of this year. V8 updates that brought in a few nice APIs. Along with that, NPM update, URL pattern global. Yagi's asked me to also mention that one. And more, yeah, the test runner on each updates. And Node 25 is out. I think that's a big one. Probably everyone in this room kind of saw it yesterday. But let me put it up here. Yay, Rafael again. Or one-man Brazilian army here. He once again took care of a major release. Let me tell you all, I'm a releaser. It's already a very, very kind of demanding job. Like it's a lot of buttons to push. You're very stressed out. There's all this possibility of things going wrong. And with a major release, it's always worse. And Rafael has basically been taking care of all the latest major releases. So if there's one time, okay, now we need to give it up to Rafael. Thank you so much. So I just wanted to, have his tweet here just bubbling up what he's already saying about it. Yes, another V8 update, some performance improvements, some options like the new permission allow net option, but other than that, not a gigantic update. It's just that the major releases are scheduled. We will see a little bit more about it as I have this slide at the end. So deprecations and removals. I also wanted to cover this. What's gone, what's going. Corpec, this was a big one from last year and early this year. So eventually there was a TSC vote to decide on the future of Corpec. And the decision was to phase out, but in a, with some time. Let's give it some time. So it's, I don't think it already went out on the version 25. So the goal there was just like, okay, let's give the ecosystem time to also adapt to this change. But it's not something the project is going to be pursuing more moving forward. So that was kind of like the biggest one in terms of deprecation. Otherwise, I just want to highlight some of the other changes and deprecations that happen in the project. I think the one to highlight here, at least talking with all the other collaborators, the slow buffer apparently is the one to keep an eye at. It was already a runtime warning in version 24, and in version 25 that's gone for good. So that might break some packages in the wild. We'll see. Website changes. I think Zaviv, who gave me a quick update here. I also want to just like mention what's going on there. So there is a work in progress of a new documentation redesign. So if you want to check it out, I put the link here. This is the end-of-life partner, download archive pages, the stuff that they've been kind of working on. And we also have a new Discord channel, kind of official Discord that is now, everything is linked from the website, so it's kind of easy to find. If you're interested in joining the official Discord account, just go to the website, you find the little icon there with the link. And yeah, so talking about the runtime, just the healthy of it, right? Like overall, what are the numbers look like, and it just keeps growing, right? Like it's so right now we can see here the total downloads. I took this from Matteo. I could not fit the link, but this I'll try to also have it sit there along with the slides online. But it's basically a visualization of all the versions of Node.js, right? And it's kind of a healthy trend here in which the latest LTS are always kind of picking up always being the most popular as soon as they become LTS. So we can see that 22 is kind of higher up there, followed by 20. And the overall downloads is already around 400,000. No, oh my God, 400 million, Jesus Christ. So also mentioned release schedule. So reason, just connecting with what I was saying about Node 25, it's the current model is just the date is set already. So by the time we get to the time frame, whatever has been scheduled for in terms of breaking changes, it goes out on that next major release. And throughout the lifetime of a release line, we can be adding more features as long as they're just like super minor, right? So, oopsie. Yes, so this schedule also connects with something I'm gonna talk about here in this getting involved portion of this talk. So basically, I would like to highlight, I'm someone who really came from the working groups, from the community involvement, and then from there, I started to become more involved in the project and doing more of the work. So it is a great place to start. So if you're looking for some place to just kind of like break the ice, start to participate in the project, I think talking to and participating to some of the working groups, talking with the people who are already there is a great place to start, right? There is a calendar it's also linked here that you can find like all the recurrent meetings. So most of these groups, they tend to have a recurrent meeting either monthly or sometimes bi-weekly, but and it's a good way to just show up. You can be from anywhere in the world, not just during the conference, right? Like, and you could start participating, right? They each have a kind of different focus, right? Like, so they're very thematic, and an official working group usually also have like it has its own mandate from the TSC. I forgot the name, but anyways, it has its focus, and it has also the ability of like making decisions. Like the release working group is the group that takes care of everything that related to releasing the node runtime, right? It has the ability. It doesn't need to be asking for permission to the TSC to go and do these. So they operate it. There's a way for the TSC, for the project leadership, to also delegate a lot of the work that happens around the project, right? And yeah, that's it. There is a collaborator summit happening tomorrow. It's gonna be here. So if you're around, if you didn't know yet, there's still time. I think it might, of course, be easier for local folks, because if you already have a plane ticket, a flight to catch, it might be more difficult. But I do want to highlight, we are having the Collab Summit. It's gonna be here in the same venue. So if you're around, here's the link. You can find it in the OpenJS Foundation GitHub repo. And yeah, it's basically just show up. We're very friendly. We're happy to have folks participate in this conversation. It's fine to also just tag along, just watch if you're interested in seeing all this conversation happen. But it's a more collaborative type of discussion. It's not a good. It's usually not talks. It's usually more a collaborative session. So to recap, yeah, I think there was a lot of good stuff for the different personas, right? Like the individual developer, the package authors, the enterprise. And I hope that's how you all are gonna be feeling, like, just sitting in your desk, doing some, some Node.js code and feeling good about it, right? Yeah, so what's next? Yeah. Version 25 is out. More links if you want to get involved, learn more. If you have bug reports, security reports, that's also how to get them. And that's it. Thank you all so much.